I'm going to share with you today why I actually believe you should be working less in your business. Not be working more, not trying to spend more hours in your business, but you should actually be working less, especially if you're wanting to grow and you're wanting to hit some new goals right now. And I'm going to convince you of why that is in the next few minutes. So I am probably going to tell you here the advice that no one else will tell you right now, but it's probably the one thing you actually need to hear is that you should actually be working less in your business. You should not be working more. You should be spending less hours working, and also doing this will actually help you to be more successful and actually achieve more in your business, especially for the hours you're putting in. So I'm going to break down why this is really true from my experience with myself and with my clients, and why this is probably going to be true for you as well in your business. First off, and I think this is a really important point which we fail to miss, and especially for people who have, started with this as being a side hustle for them, have then gone full time, you have unlimited hours to work on the business then. You have so much time, which seems like such a good thing. But we tend to, when we have a lot of time, we tend to just waste a lot of it because we have a lot of it. If you give me 10 hours to work, I'm going to spend 10 hours working. If you give me 30 minutes to work, I'll also spend 30 minutes working. And it's really helpful to realize that actually having more time and spending more time on something isn't necessarily a good thing, because there always reaches that plateau where we've achieved the majority that we can and we're really just fine-tuning things. We're just barely moving the needle. We're barely making a difference for the extra time that we're actually spending. So really, we're spending 80% of our time doing things which are getting us 20% of the results. The 80-20 rule is so perfect here of, the majority of our time is spent doing things which aren't really moving the needle much for us. Whereas actually, if we can really isolate what are the 20% of actions which are getting us 80% of our results and double down on those, imagine what your results would look like. I mean, if you just do the maths on that, that's really good and is significantly better results for significantly less time in your business as well. If you actually had less time to be working on the business as well, you would get so much more strategic. If I told you right now, okay, magically, you only have an hour every single day to work on your business. I'm sorry, rest of your time, it's just disappeared. I don't know where it's gone, but it's gone somewhere. And you only have an hour now to work on your business every single day. You would somehow make it work. It would be a bit of a stretch, probably it'd be a bit of a challenge, but you would make it work. You would really just cut out the things which aren't making you as much money, aren't being the really important things, are kind of a bit of a time waster, and actually you would make it work. You would just get really strategic. And that's what we can do without forcing ourselves into such an extreme situation. We can really get strategic with our time and actually intentionally spend less time working, knowing that we're then being more strategic with where our time's going. And once we can then figure out, what is working really well, what is getting us the results, that's when we can actually focus in on what is moving the needle. We can always increase that area, and we're probably still working less than we previously were. And I think the really interesting thing here is, as I said, with that kind of hitting a plateau of, once we've done a certain amount of work, everything else is kind of fine tuning. It's just small differences that don't really make much of an impact in terms of your results. Actually, if you were to, for example, halve your work hours right now, I pretty much guarantee that would not lead to a 50% drop in income. These are not perfectly correlated together. There would be a small drop probably if you just straight out cut 50% off, but for the majority, it's not going to be any more than a small cut. And I think it's really helpful to actually look at your business and say, where are the actions that I'm, spending time in that are the ones that are actually not moving the needle for me, that are actually not getting me the results that I can afford to cut back on and intentionally spend a bit of time working less so I can figure out, how does my business look when I work 20% less? How does that actually look in reality? Because it's much less worse than what we usually will think it will be just straight off the top of our heads, and actually then utilize some of that extra time to focus on what is really important and what is actually getting you results. So that is my argument on why I believe that you should probably be working less in your business right now. Let me know your thoughts in the comments if you have any thoughts on that, and I will see you tomorrow for our next daily video.